Well, good morning. We are here with the Vital Update today, and it is Tuesday. Got a bunch of rain happening outside right now, so hopefully we will stay dry as we can. But man, I'm excited about our guest today. We've got the owners of Streva Production, or Productions, sorry, Philip and Teresa. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't know if y'all know our background or my background, but I'm very heavily involved in church production work and took some theater classes at UL. Actually, Vital, in addition to what it stands for, it also stands for video, IT, audio, and lighting. So we kind of love the whole theater and production world. That's kind of our niche and something that I'm passionate about personally. So man, I've been looking forward to having this conversation about what you guys do, because it's very fun for me. So why don't you just give us a simple overview and kind of tell us about Streva Productions and what you guys do, and kind of give us your story.
Well, it just started this year. We've both been involved in local theater for quite some time now, and we wanted to kind of get on the other side of it and maybe produce some plays and other things. So yeah, really just started it probably January, like that. So there's not a lot to say just yet.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, though. So I've actually been pretty intrigued by a lot of the people that we've been talking to on our Facebook Lives, and the amount of people that actually decided to start businesses in the middle of like this pandemic, and especially like a production thing that's kind of like that all kind of got shut down for a while. So what was the timing like? Why did y'all pick the middle of of COVID, and how has that affected kind of some of what y'all are wanting to do?
Well, we originally had our first play, Drinking Habits. It was scheduled for 2019, and COVID shut it down, and so we moved it to May of this year. And things were starting to open up. So it was really a good time to have a comedy, a farce, and something lighthearted because people were just craving that type of energy. And so
I think that's a great point. I think people are just like ready to get back to that kind of stuff in that world, just going to do things again.
It was amazing. I mean, it's not a real popular play. I mean, people don't know about it, and we sold out almost every night.
Yeah.
And that was in May of 2021, correct?
Yeah, a few months ago. Gotcha. Yeah. I played Father Chanel. She directed it, and we both produced it, and that was our first theater production.
Under Streva Productions.
Under Streva Productions.
Right.
So yeah, it was. We had a little bit of money to invest in the rights and all the things you have to buy and to do the set. And then, you do the play, you make a few pennies and you put that aside for the next one. And so we're looking forward to going, to keep doing this. I was going to say we look forward to going forward, but that doesn't sound good.
And also, speaking of being in the pandemic, we did a short little film just for fun in conjunction with AOC. We're kind of jumping ahead on the topic here, but speaking of why we decided to do a production company so we did work with AOC, and that a very limited audience. We had two little actors wonderful actors that volunteered their time to do this very brief little sex ed film for us, and we just kind of like doing this to keep ourselves creatively involved.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this previous production y'all did in May. I'm kind of curious. What's I think y'all are actually doing it again. Or doing a version of it? Is that what I've heard?
Yes,
absolutely.
Drinking Habits was a farce written by Teresa Streva, and I chose that was my first directing debut. And I chose a farce because having been in many productions in different varieties of ways, I knew that if something went wrong, the audience wouldn't know. I was like, we're going to do this because if somebody flubs or misses a line or a whole paragraph or noise backstage, then, it was such a comedic play that we could just play it off.
And by the way, all of those things happen.
Hey, being in the production world, it's like, okay, yeah, you can make those mistakes as long as the audience doesn't know. It doesn't really matter. It wasn't really a mistake, right?
Usually, but yeah.
Well, during a major drama, you're in buckets off the cast.
Sometimes they'll pick it up, yeah.
But it was a fun one. I added a bunch of different sound clips to kind of to bring out the comedic part. I'm a very big fan of Carol Burnett and all the old shows. So our stitch was that, they did something or they had a certain line and the sound clip would be dum, dum, dum. And then the actors would be like,
yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
They would react to the sound.
That really added a lot to the play.
It was a lot of fun. We had so much fun that the majority of the cast, we had one cast member that had to move away for work. But the majority of the class was so excited. They were like, one of the main characters, Beth Finch, who played Mother Superior, was like, they have a sequel. I was like, yes, I know. Yeah. And so that's going to be our next show next May, and it's also going to be co-produced with Cité Desar, as was this one. And then he's got the Marvelous Wonderettes coming up in September, which is solely a Streva Productions production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Marvelous Wonderettes is four women who are at prom, and they sing a bunch of songs from the 50s. It's a jukebox musical, and
okay.
Yeah, and then they have a 10-year reunion, and they sing songs from the 60s. So it's just really just a 50s, 60s thing. I love 50s and 60s music, and Beth Finch came up with the idea. So that's going to be a Streva production where we kind of step back and just produce. And we have our director. I may assistant direct just to make sure, just to consult with her. And then we're going to have the actors, and we're going to kind of take a step back on that one and just produce. Yeah.
And that one's actually coming up. That's the first one y'all are doing, right? Or is that next year?
Drinking Habits 2 is the first one.
Okay.
And then next September, a year from now, we'll do Marvelous Wonderettes. Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was this month or if it was a year from now. So.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I was like, y'all seem pretty calm about it if it's this month. But no, that I'm looking forward to that one. I actually love the musical side of it. Would be pretty cool to see. So tell me a little bit about just your experience. What made y'all decide to even get into the production industry? I know y'all got some history there. Just kind of give me your story. What drew this out of you?
Our first production was actually about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When we were dating, I recorded a song in the 90s called The Little Old Lady from Catahoula, which is a parody of an old 60s song, Little Old Lady from Pasadena. Anyway, I recorded the song and I put together a little video, which was terrible. It was a terrible video. It was just still pictures, and she was like, Phil, we need to do that better. So we got with AOC, we got the equipment, and we did a pretty good video of The Little Old Lady from Catahoula. She was the star of the video, of course, and it was my song, so we both got a little bit out of that.
We had so much fun doing that music video. It took us about 9 months overall. I had to take film editing classes that AOC offered for free. You have a membership. And
that's an interesting point. We can just give them a shout out. I mean, a lot of people don't know about AOC and what they know the channel sometimes, but they don't know all the things you can do. Actually, my dad used to do the high school football games with AOC, and he would do, they would do different classes and things there. So why don't you just give them a plug on that? But
out to Jacob White.
Yeah. AOC.
Jacob was our cameraman for the short film that we directed.
You're right.
And he, they just really, they have so much to offer. So I did take their film editing classes, the camera use classes and all that, because we filmed on different locations, Bayou Teche, and in Bro Bridge and just different areas. And shout out to Corey for the Bayou Teche experience. He was our canoe rider.
Yeah, we were actually in the Bayou paddle and P-Rose as a part of that music video. And no, it was great. And so that was actually our first production together, but we weren't married yet, so we didn't call it Streva Productions. But
it really was.
So that was really the start of us wanting to produce stuff together.
And then we were in a couple of plays together. Here's one of our most famous plays. I was
Yeah.
Nurse Ratchet, and he
Yeah.
was Scanlan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't look like myself there, but a lot of people said I look better.
We enjoy being very creative together. And like I said, we have combined almost 20 experience in the community theater, acting. I've done set design, set artist, recently sound and lights. I'm not really good at setting lights, so that's not my forte.
So y'all really kind of just oversee all of that, even from start to finish. Y'all do the whole production with the set design and everything, right?
Yeah, everything. But with our experience as actors, and of course she's done a lot more than just act. We certainly have an education and an experience enough to do it.
I do graphic designs. I've done a lot of playbill covers for local community theaters. So I mean, I create posters and the program covers and things like that. So
she wins. She does more than me.
I think that's a great story though, about like y'all found something y'all are passionate about. Y'all in the middle of kind of this strange time of this whole country being in this pandemic and lockdowns and all of that. Y'all have actually found a niche that y'all really are passionate about, and then you also used AOC and ways to do it in a cheap way to learn and kind of build from that, right? Yes. And I think that's what's fantastic about the story, is just being able to overcome that adversity and still do what y'all are doing, which is awesome.
Well, the pandemic also provided Phil time to write his own jukebox musical.
So I wrote a jukebox musical called Disco Loves Rock. It's a Streva Productions, 70s musical. I just finished it, and it's just filled with great 70s music: Led Zeppelin, Oreo Speedwagon, Donna Summer, Casey.
All right, so when's that one?
Huh?
So when's that one?
Well, we don't know. I just finished writing it. I sent it to a few people. It's a love story about a rock guy falling in love with a disco girl. Their friends don't like the relationship. It's a little bit of drama, but a lot of great music, and I can't wait to get that on stage. That's like my number one priority once Marvelous Wonderettes is done, is to get that on stage.
Gotcha. So you're doing writing, and then Teresa wrote one too, right? Or is in the middle of it?
The process of writing one called # I Want to Go Home, based on a life of my hospital stay during the pandemic. And it's got some comedy relief, but it's mostly got some heartfelt stuff in there too that I'm sure a lot of people relate to during the time of the pandemic. So I'm not sure when that's finished. As I said, it is drawing on life experience, so it can be a little tough.
This job cannot be rushed.
I think that's I'm sure as a creative, there's a lot of times where you're like, when you start dreaming of these things in your mind, it's like you can always it's almost like it's never finished. Right. It's never like a finished product. You can always add to it.
I've edited this jukebox musical,
since he copyrighted
50 times. So I think it's final, but it may not be.
So one of the things that's interesting is y'all are actually doing this kind of as a side project, but y'all both work full time. So how do you balance that, what you're passionate about, with what your work schedule is?
Well, both of us have grown kids. We're no longer raising kids, and both of our
that takes up a lot of time. I can tell you, I have 2 of them. So.
And both of our around 4 to 4:30 every day, and we have our weekends off. Believe me, there's plenty of time to work on writing, producing, acting. We still want to act. There's plenty of time.
And our hobbies and our crafts evolve around the art world, so it's kind of all ever evolving.
And I think that's what's really cool about just the Lafayette area, is they're so involved and invested in things like what y'all do, and having AOC and having some of these options for you. Acadian is fantastic, yes. But really having the community support, which is very nice.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, very much so. Yes.
So give us a little kind of a peek behind the curtain of y'all's vision for the next couple of years, and just kind of what y'all want to do, short term. I know y'all have some projects coming up. I'm looking forward to those. But long term, where do you see like your vision? What's your vision for the company?
Well, our long-term goal is to eventually have a venue of our own where we can, and put on musicals and plays and allow other directors to come in and do their dreams, and maybe have a space for people who want to do art classes or music classes, or just to have a kind of a multicultural venue.
I guess that's another question I didn't even think about. But where are y'all's? What venues do y'all typically try to utilize?
We rent. Like we rent Cité des Arts for this jukebox musical, Disco Loves Rock. If we have to produce it ourselves, we're gonna rent a place that can fit that kind of a play, which would involve 30 people in the cast. So we may have to rent something bigger for that. So yeah, right now we're just renting theaters.
Okay. Awesome. Well, so like, give us your 5-year. Where do you want to, like? Is this something y'all want to be doing full time? Is this something where you're looking to develop this into where you're doing a production every quarter, every month? Like, kind of what y'all's.
Yeah.
Goal? And I know it's kind of hard to quantify all that because you probably.
Yeah, really small right now, like I said. I mean, we just barely have got our feet on the ground. So it's going to take a while to build to where we want to go, but we do have.
Hey, you say that, you never know. I mean,
well, full time would be. I mean, right now it wouldn't be necessary to be full time, simply because, well, first of all, we need to pay our bills, and this doesn't pay bills. But secondly, most actors in local theater and the things that we're doing, they can't start rehearsing until 6 p.m.
Gotcha.
And those are generally on weekends. So it's really not necessary to be full time with this. But like she said, when we retire and we have Social Security checks and stuff, maybe we can just hang out all day and then practice at night.
So what? How have y'all, like? I mean, you've been kind of in the industry, in that world for a few years. Do y'all see like a fall off, I guess, of kind of the up and coming? So it's almost like, everything is the 3-minute TikTok videos or the 30-second Facebook videos, and then people lose interest. So how do you see kind of the theater and some of the stuff that y'all are doing? Kind of, how do you reach out to the younger generation that's coming up, and all they see is that screen in front of them?
Well, you've got to kind of conform to that. When we're marketing for drinking habits, I would just do 30-second clips of some scenes, because I know that the attention span these days is under 2 minutes, and so just when I start drinking habits too, I'm going to do TikTok videos, and I'm going to do Snapchat, and I'm just going to get it out there. Now, once people are in, there still is a love for live theater. There really is.
No doubt.
And I think I think that was the issue with my children, even my kids. It's like they don't know what it is, but when you actually bring them and immerse them in that, it's actually something they very much they kind of get into the story. It's almost like a live in-person movie.
Children's musical or something. They seem to really just. My granddaughter took her to see. I forgot what it was. Children's musical. And she was just like, like mesmerized by kids her age and older, up there singing and dancing and things. So
and that's a good point, because drinking habits. One night there was a 10-year-old kid that was there, I guess because they couldn't find a babysitter.
No.
Anyway,
one of our actors.
Anyway, he laughed the whole time. I mean, the kid loved it. So there's still going to be young people that love theater. And there are people, friends of mine, that have never seen one of my plays because they told me straight up, I can't sit for 2 hours and watch it. So, you just appeal to the people that certainly want to go.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what I like about, like, going back to even just our culture here in Lafayette and having so many options to, to expose your children to certain things and to just kind of let them kind of make those determinations on what's interesting and what they like, and having those avenues is great. Which I love that. I mean, I love that musical is something that kind of transcends generations, and that's what they say. Music is the universal language, right? And I think when you do that in a musical format, you're just immersing yourself in so many different things. It's a great way to get a new generation interested in that they never used to seeing.
Yeah.
How they say, where words fail, music speaks.
Yep.
Exactly. And about 10 years ago, iPal did a musical with 50s and 60s music in it, and it was a huge success. So I'm thinking 10 years later, 70s is where it's at. So hopefully that'll be good for my little musical.
I saw this on Facebook the other day, and or it might have been this morning. They had a meme, and it was a picture of the Wright brothers flight was like in 1900.
Yeah.
And then we went to space in a 66-year period.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, like, if you see how like quickly things have progressed and technology is kind of taking that,
For the last
it's been crazy. And now even with theater, you're seeing some things where you're able to do things with lighting and special effects and things that you've never been able to do before. And so that kind of can keep the younger minds interested. I see that sometimes in what we do, but man, go ahead.
I did a video for Crossroads Church. I was their Easter video, and I'm talking about special effects. They had two young actors.
Oh, were you in that?
I was the grandma.
Oh, okay. I was there for it. So I run sound there on Sundays.
Small world.
Yep.
Spent 2 hours standing out in that field. They did the whole lightsabers and things. They had the lightsaber fight and the bunny rabbit and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty interesting, the things that they can do.
Yeah, she's done commercials and stuff. Teresa's done a lot.
He's done movies.
Yeah, I did a couple of extra work, but I had a good scene in one of them. But boy, that's a process, man. Making movies. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
I'm not cut out for it.
I mean, I was on set for 10 hours, and it was like a 3-minute scene. You have to have a lot of patience to make a movie.
Give me live theater and short films.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm happy.
Well, the beauty about live theater is once you do it, you're finished. You can't go back and change it and correct it. So, but yeah, Crossroads is great. I actually grew up. I went to church there for as long as I can remember, and my dad actually was involved in the media ministry there, doing all the video stuff and
that was experience.
Yeah, so they're great, and you did a fantastic job in that, by the way. That whole thing, my kids loved that whole movie for Easter and everything, so it was fantastic.
Bruce, who played Grandpa, he's a very dear friend of mine. We've done many murder mystery dinners together, so we had a chemistry to begin with.
Okay, wait, y'all did what together?
Murder mystery dinners. We were part of a murder mystery trip. The usual.
See, that sounds fun.
Yeah. What I love about the murder mystery dinner, shout out to Amanda if you're watching. Amanda Shackelford does the usual suspects. We're part of the murder mystery troupe, and they're fun because you perform 1 or 2 nights, and that's it. You're done. So you don't have to spend months and months. There is no rehearsal, and it's a lot of improv. I think on your feet, and you get to interact with people, and your character kind of. For me, my character tends to evolve as the night progresses.
Yeah, that's why I don't do that. She's great. I would prefer having a script, studying my lines, and saying my lines the way they're written. She loves improv.
That's where all my 200+ personalities come in handy.
No doubt.
We were looking at doing that for our office staff. We had kind of done it was a mail-in thing. They kind of shipped you kind of your murder mystery. Everybody had a character thing. We did that in our office, but we were looking at doing something like what you're explaining, just kind of going and doing an experience with that. Of course, that was in the middle of COVID and everything else, and kind of a lot of that shut down. But no, that stuff is fun for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun to watch it. That's murder mystery dinners are fun.
Well, look, I'm going to go ahead and put up y'all's social media on here, and that is where everybody can find you on YouTube and on your Facebook page. They can connect with you guys, and are y'all looking for any actors and actresses and people to help with the productions? What are y'all doing with that?
I have another short film in mind that was written by Tom Smith. It's called Friday Nights. It's another educational film about the dangers of alcohol poisoning and overeating, and it involves 4 young adults, college age or that look college age. We were thinking about doing that in conjunction with AOC again, just as part of it, just to get back to the community, to keep us having fun and creative, and keep my editing skills sharp, my film editing skills sharp. So everybody out there, kind of participate. Give, a shout out. You can now the Streva Productions website is still in construction, but there is an email link on there, or you can message us on Facebook as well. And so that kind of is on the back burner. But if we do get somebody that is interested, Jacob at AOC said he would be more than happy to do some green screen filming, or maybe even some on location filming.
And for drinking habits, we may need a couple people. Marvelous Wonderettes, we're going to be looking for 4 young ladies. And for Disco Loves Rock, we're looking for a lot of people for that. So, yes, over the next year and a half, we'll be looking for a lot of talent.
Especially somebody can sing like, what is his name? DJ guy?
Yeah, right. Barry Gibb. Yeah. If you can sing like Barry Gibb, please call me.
But even like some of the supporting roles or support staff, like the backstage people or set people, that's all something y'all can do.
Oh, boy.
No, you need lights, you need tech, you need stage manager.
Anything.
And look, it's fun. Theater's fun, no matter what you do, because you're part of a team. I played football in high school. It reminds me of that. It really does. You're first for 2 months, and then you play your game in front of the crowd, and it's very rewarding, whether you're an actor or.
And it's very fun. So if anybody is looking to just kind of get their foot in the door, we're open for that. As backstage manager, or maybe we're open to do new casting as well. The backstage antics that go on during sometimes are more fun than the play itself.
Oh, it's a blast. I mean, my first experience as Jesus Christ Superstar at iPal, and we had 40 people in the cast. I mean, it was a blast. When that play ended, I was depressed for like a month. But I fell in love with theater.
But you make new friends, and you network, and you do develop new friendships through theater. So I think it's really a good outlet. I know several people that were in a not so good place in life, in theater. They got involved in a play. They felt like they were needed. They felt like they made a difference, and it just uplifts. It's very uplifting, and it's a good thing. So all the way around.
And for people like me, I'm definitely more above the behind the scenes type crew. But that's like, to me, when you can pull off a production like that and have very little to no mistakes, that's the biggest, like, man, that's just such a great feeling.
Yes, it is. For everybody.
For everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. So.
And I think it's such important. It's not just the actors, but you look at all those things that have to come into place, even from the set design, just what y'all do from the creative side, the writing. I mean, you look at all the different talent that is involved in theater, and that's what's really interesting, just to see everybody's talent on showcase and then pulling it all together to make this presentation and production.
And you actually get involved in a production. You had no idea. Until I got involved in community theater, I had no idea how much it was.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
But it's good work. It's
look,
good work.
Let me tell you, in Acadiana, there is so much talent.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we've been on Broadway, and I'm telling you, right here in Acadiana, it's just maybe a notch below. I mean,
mean,
it's
all the what CYT,
I mean,
Wonderland.
yeah.
the musicals and plays that we put on here in Acadiana, and when I say we, I mean, you know, everybody.
Right.
It's high quality stuff.
Is that being part of Acadiana?
Yeah,
Yeah, we saw Xanadu, and I mean, they had a tap dancing scene.
Yeah.
He actually did a flip off the table. It was
Yeah,
like,
Kaylee Lay was the director of that.
It was
Yeah,
fantabulous.
it was great.
if anybody hasn't seen it yet, go see it. It's great.
What is that? What was it again?
Xanadu, it's at the Abbey Players in Abbeville.
Oh, okay.
It was quite entertaining. So
Awesome. Well, we've gone about 30 minutes. It's about 10 minutes longer than we normally go. So like I said, I've been looking forward to having this conversation. So I definitely thank you guys for joining us today and just kind of telling us about your story. We love meeting different people and having you guys on. So if anybody's interested that's watching this, if you want to actually get involved or contact Streva Productions, you can do so. You can comment on this video. We'll make sure that y'all get in touch with them. You can go to their social media, their website as well. And we look forward to, let's see, May, I guess, is when we'll be having y'all's next presentation, right?
Yeah, our next
we'll
play.
be doing auditions in January.
Yeah.
Awesome.
February.
Yeah, we'll
And I'm assuming y'all going to be communicating all that through Facebook and social media, correct?
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
All right.
you, Sarah. Okay.
Bye.